All right, and now it's time for a new class. This class is of course going to be Game 415. And in this class, we are going to talk about the graphics game engine. All right, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and cover an overview of what this series is going to be about. We're also going to talk about environment, access, and setup. And to get us started, we're going to work with our first plugin tutorial, where we're just basically going to go ahead and set up a plugin and get a message to output to the screen. In essence, it's going to be a Hello World program. As an overview of what the course is going to be about, this course is all about displaying 3D objects in the game development environment by employing graphic application program interfaces. This is right from the course material sort of thing. I summarized it a little bit. In essence, what we're going to go ahead and do is learn how to program the graphic ends of what we want to do in the realm of textures and shaders and overall geometry and objects in the game development space that we use, which is, of course, in this course is going to be Unreal Engine. Speaking of Unreal Engine, when we go ahead and talk about the environment setup, we're going to need to make sure we have Unreal Engine version 4.18.3. The course actually calls for just 4.18. However, our only option on that is the 0.3. Along with that, we're going to need Visual Studio 2017 version 15.9.4, which is the latest version. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and assume a basic understanding of installing applications. And in that respect, I'm just going to illustrate the two. So if I go to my Visual Studios for C++, well, actually just Visual Studios, doesn't matter if it's C++ or not. Go to the About. I actually just got done updating this myself. So you can see I have version 15.9.4. One other thing to note, I did opt a few weeks ago to go ahead and get Visual Assist. So if you find that my screen looks different than yours, this is probably why. Okay, now going on to the Unreal Engine, if we go to the launcher and go to our library, you can already see up here that I already have 4.18.3 installed. If you don't, all you have to do is go to plus, pick the version you want, which I already have it, so it won't be here, but you would see I don't even use the latest one. I could do this one and click install, and that will install it. But I already have it here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that launched. And from here, we're going to actually continue on to the tutorial part of this course, which is getting the first plugins all set up. I kind of went ahead of schedule and looked at a lot of the different modules that were going to be coming up. And I've determined that I'm going to set this up two ways. The first way, of course, is I'm going to create one project which will build upon all of the different exercises. I might have a module or two here or there where I start a whole new module just because it might be easier, but in the end, they're all going to come into that one activity, one exercise. You can see I already have a couple of them here. I'm going to go ahead and create a whole new one. And then at the end of every video, I'm going to try to go ahead and do a time lapse of my final project or stepping stones. So you can kind of get both perspectives of what it's going to take to get the assignments done, and then how I interpreted it into my final project. All right, so now that I have this assignment all put up, what I'm going to go ahead and do is create a new C++ blank assignment. I had already copied over the directory I wanted it in, which is just going to be my OneDrive right there. And I want to go ahead and call these just activities. So I'll just go ahead and create that and come back when this is all loaded up. All right, so with it loaded, what we're going to do is come up here to Edit and go down to Plugins. And what we're going to do is go ahead and create a new plugin, which, as you can see, it's going to go ahead and put a plugins folder into our project. And in here, we're going to call this plugin just going to go ahead and call it first plugin. It's actually supposed to be our name, I suppose. So I have a long name, so I'll just go Luciano plugin. And you can go ahead and put some descriptors in here. All right, so what we're going to do is, just go ahead and put a author in there, and then put in the description, the hello world message in the EU log output. We got to make sure to click on the blank, and we can go ahead and create. And with this, when it loads, sometimes you get weird messages. I got this, so I'm just going to click overwrite. We just started the project, so there's nothing that I'm going to risk losing. And what we're going to do right from here is take a quick tour of our project and our plugin. So when we go to our activities project and go to our plugins folder right there, and click on the folder subfolder, and you can see our plugin file. It's a JSON file like we've seen before, where it contains all the information. And conveniently enough, this is the information that we had typed in previously when creating the plugin. Now in the source files, so you go to source, and then the plugins, and then you get private, and then you have public. So in our public, we have our header file. And then of course in the private, we have our source files. What we're going to do is take a look at our header file real quick. And you can kind of see in the header file, it kind of gives us a canned template. We have two functions, one that activates when the plugin is, enabled or executed, and the other one when it is shut down. If we Alt-O, we can go to the source file for both of those functions. So you can kind of see right here. These are the two different functions here. We're going to come back to this because I wanted to take a minute and also show the build file where we have the dependencies, and we can add some things into the public and private dependencies by the add ranges, and we will mess with this in the next module, but I don't want to get too far ahead. I just wanted to take notice of where this file is located here. Coming back to the source file, what we're going to do is right here in the start, we're going to execute the code. This is a very generic hello world kind of a thing. So speed type right away, and voila! That will be all the code we need. Just a quick little hello world in the log. So my shortcut again for this is Control-Shift-B to do a quick build on it. No errors or anything. So we can come back over here. Make sure my output log is visible. And what we're going to do is close this. And now from here, I'll Control F5 to open up the editor again. Why am I doing this? Because the plugin actually executes that code when it is initially started up. So by all essence, our plugins are going to be initiated as soon as we open it in the editor. So if I go through here, I should see somewhere in this log a hello world message right there. Well, there it is. Tutorial 1, Module 1, done. All right, so I will do a video at least once a week Sometimes I will end up doing 2 videos in a week if the content is complex, maybe even 3. I will try to keep up with this as much as I can. Without any further ado, I will say goodbye, farewell, see you next time.